Hey everybody, it's Night Force, and this is basically a starting of a guide here. This is your overnight guide with Night Force. And with this specific video, we're going to go into the world of Terraria, and we're going to go through a quick go-through guide for all you people just starting out with the swords. All of them. Warning, there are spoilers here. What I'm wearing is a spoiler. That old man down there is a spoiler. That candle down there, it's a spoiler. But we're going to go ahead and start off with the basics of the swords while we still have daylight. Not that monsters will come bug me. So the first weapon we have is the wooden sword. It's constructed out of 7 logs. You can do up to 7 damage. It's got average speed. You can kind of keep things away a little bit. You'll find yourself being pushed back as you attack, especially with slimes since they have large jumping gaps. Zombies not so much, and evil eyes will give you a little bit of a problem, especially since they're flying enemies. But once you get done using your wooden sword, you'll probably want to jump up to something even better, like a copper broadsword, or maybe even an iron broadsword if you found enough iron. Copper and iron broadswords both also have average swing speeds. The broadsword does 8 damage. Iron broadsword does 10 damage. Like I said, both with average speeds. You also notice that you have the ability to craft a copper and a iron short sword. These swords will make a big difference to you whenever you come across massive groups of enemies. For instance, 4 zombies, these things stab fairly fast in the front of you. Each click you do a quick little thrust forward. And they don't do much damage themselves, compared to the broadswords, but they have very fast speed, so the damage can stack up. And they are also made using, I think it was 2 bars less. I think they are, so it's 1 bar less. It's 8 bars to craft all the broadswords, all the way up to gold, and 1 bar less to craft the short swords. So 7 bars, 7 bars, 7 bars, 8, 8, 8, 8. But we'll get around to the silver stuff later. But with you'll definitely want to invest in short swords while you're starting off to defend yourself, especially when it comes around red moons. When these things will be a godsend when it comes to red moons. Now we're gonna rotate our things around because we got a good bit of swords to cover up. God help me when it comes around to the ranged weapons that are coming up, especially just the plain old throwing craps. Alright, and this is 1.3, it just came out, and I'm still kind of wrapping my head around some of the new stuff. For instance, my new armor, the jungle armor, is kind of throwing me off a little bit. Next up is the silver broadsword. There is no silver short sword, which is really, really unique. It would be nice to have one, in case you do get to the silver stage, but just because of the rarity of silver, it's not like super rare, but it's kind of hard to get a hold of it. And not so much of a jump between iron and silver. I would suggest you hold on to your silver ores and just skip the silver broadsword completely. However, for a weapon later on, you are going to want to have one for a later project. Alright, and I'm doing this while pointing at the screen, like I'm pointing at you like you're doing something wrong. But, and wow, I noticed a little glitch down there in the bottom corner of my screen. Hang on, let me see if I can fix that. Okay, there. Yeah, it's back again. That is so weird. I wonder if it's just Camtasia or if it's just a glitch that's just for me. That is weird. I thought my map was a little off. But back to business. So for a change from 10 damage to 11 damage, it's really not even worth the change up, and they're both still average speed. Next weapon, you're definitely going to want to have. My friend Toshiro gave me this sword right from the start, and it helped a lot, and it was definitely really good, especially since our first night on a server together was a blood moon, so it really, really helped. And the gold sword, or the short sword, is also worth investing in, because once again, you can just keep juggle and juggle and juggle and juggle. However, enemies in the sky, like the demon eyes, are a little more difficult to handle when you're using a short sword, because the broadsword has a wider span around you, so you can jump and slap it real easy. So definitely when you get gold, you're going to want to craft a weapon, and a gold broadsword, as soon as you can get to it. That'll be your good base weapon that you can stick to and depend on for a good while until you can work up to this next weapon we're about to go to. Now we're gonna shove everything over one more time, because they got a lot of stuffs. Alright, next one is the Lightsbane. This sword, especially when you start off, is going to be a little difficult to get, but when you do get it, it's going to be a dream. Because number one, it's your first... Oh, okay, never mind. I was thinking it was your first one. It's a good hefty 3 damage jump from the gold sword to the Lightsbane, and it also has a fast speed, much like the gold sword. So you'll be able to juggle enemies a little easier compared to the weapons with average speed. And just the damage itself will cause like 2 or about 3-4 hits to a zombie. You'll kill it. Maybe 5. I think it's 5. But it's definitely a good weapon for you to grab off from the start as soon as you can. If you can take care of a demon's eye, or fudge. What is that thing that called that's floating in the eye? That floats in the air. The Cthulhu. The Cthulhu, excuse me. The Cthulhu. It's definitely one of the things you want to craft, because as soon as you are capable of killing a Cthulhu and you get your first weapon, you're definitely going to want a Lightsbane so you can kill other Cthulhus and eventually get your demon armor and your demon weapons, demon axe, demon pick, especially the demon pick. The demon pick will help you, but we'll get into the picks and stuff at a later time. Next weapon we got is something... Oh, also has another note back at the Lightsbane. It takes 10 demonite bars to craft it. So it's slightly more than the iron all the way up to gold weapons. It takes a little bit more to craft it, but it's definitely worth it. And it takes a little effort to get the ores, but it should be within one Cthulhu kill. You should be able to craft this weapon easily with the drop. The next weapon is the Staff of Regrowth. You'll make a good another like 4 jump, and it's also got a fast speed, but the difference with this one is you can create grass on dirt. So just by, you know, like, oh, let's go down here and, oh, look, we're making grass in the dirt. But you can also, let's say, oh, look, there's stuff down there. We're gonna turn that into grass. Isn't that lovely? Oh, that's a little out of range. But you can easily craft grass. It makes your druid lady, wherever she be hiding now. We'll probably do a guide on the NPCs later. It makes her grass seeds useless, and it doesn't even cost you gold, nor does it cost you any magic points. So it's a jump up from the Lightsbane, but considering that the difficulty to get it, it's actually the last sword I got out of all of the weapons, because you have to find it. You cannot craft it. You can either find it in a jungle shrine, or it's a really rare drop from a man-eater plant. So it's a little bit of a hefty weapon to get a hold on, but if you can get a hold of it, it is a good weapon worth swinging around to defend yourself. You can hold your, also as a note, you can hold your mouse button down and you'll do a continuous swing, so you can defend yourself quite easily without having to click, 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 click. Now we're going to jump to the next weapon. We have the Phase Blade. For me, I'm going to use the blue one, but all the colors have the same damage and the same speed. You jump from fast speed to an average speed, but you'll get a little bit more damage out of it. And it has a little bit more of a reach than the other weapons that we've gone through. As you see, this one, not so much far. That one's got a little bit more of a reach, but you got to click each time. It takes 20 meteorite bars. So that means you got to wait for a meteor fall, which means you got to shatter a shadow orb. Excuse me. So getting a hold of that, especially without the help of a obsidian skull, it's going to be a little difficult to get a hold of the meteorite in order to make this weapon. But let me tell you what, it's a weapon worth getting. Now, as for how to get the specific colors, you have to get 10 of the crystals, like jade, ruby, sapphire. Is there jade? Yeah, there's... No, there's not. I got a chest down here. Hang on. I forget. We got diamond. We've got... I got a chest. Right. Oh, wrong one. Oh, wrong one again. There we go. Amethyst, topaz, sapphire, emerald, ruby, and diamond. Each make their corresponding color. So you need 10 of each in order to make that color. So like if you want blue, you need 10 sapphires. You want green, get 10 emeralds. Red, you can figure it out from there. And ooh, it's starting to get dark. Yay. Get around there. But it's a weapon that if you can get a jump to, it's kind of worth the jump. The effort that goes through it kind of is not really too much to be worth it, but who doesn't like Star Wars? Seriously. So, the blue space blade back are some pretty okay weapons, but now we're going to jump to one that I have a preference for and I use 90% of the time. Is the Muramasa. It's a fairly long-reaching sword with a incredibly fast attack rate, and you can go even faster if you add in a special armor suit and feral claws. You can swing up to, I think it was 7 times a second, which is insane. You'll rape anything fast. But the Muramasa does 22 damage and has an incredibly fast speed. Over, damage per second, it could pretty much deal out the most damage in the game, and that's why I use it. But you have to be constant with your hits. The bad thing about this thing is you can only find it in the dungeon. Ooh, it's dark, scary. You can only find it in the dungeon. So that means you gotta go to either your left side or your right side. Kills. Oh, Jesus Christ. Really? Get back, you fiends. Okay. I guess this would be a good time to start wish I had the ability to jump things around. I guess if I stand right here, they won't spawn as much. Whoa, did he just disappear? Oh gosh, lag. Jesus Christ. Oh wow. Sweet. I've yet to get sunglasses that were just released. So I'm trying to kill some of these eyes to get the black lens, which I have yet to see. Yeah, come on in, guys. Come on in. Come on in. I slap and I chop and I chop and I slap. I'm slap chopping the human race. Go away. Go away. I should really get something. So Muramasa, in my opinion, best weapon in the game because of its fast speed and the damage can allow you to juggle a whole mass of enemies easily, like I just did. Lens. And I even use it against some of the tougher enemies in the game, and it can deal a whole good mama load of damage. So now we're going to jump to the next weapon. We have the Blade of Grass. Oh, I forget I gotta swing it. As you will notice right off from the bat, this thing's got a huge range. And it's pretty much wiping out a mass of zombies with a couple of swings. This is one of the hard-hitting weapons in the game. Every time you click, every time you want to swing, you gotta click. Not as fast as the Muramasa. It does 28 damage and has a slow speed. And don't worry, I don't have anything on me that's affecting any of the swing rates or anything. This suit only increases my mana regen. So I had to kill him. So, oh Jesus Christ, they're everywhere. I hate blood moons sometimes. Oh, laggy too. So, in order to make a blade of grass, you need a silver broadsword, which is pretty much the only use that I see in the silver broadsword anyway. It's just to make this weapon. I used it myself for a while. And you're going to need 40 jungle roses, which isn't that hard to collect. Some of you may find some difficulty in it, but it's possible. You just have to keep chopping down the surrounding brush around inside the underground forest, or the underground jungle. And you're going to need 20 stingers from the bees, or yellow jackets, or whatever people call them. I forget. I just kill them like nobody's business. Oh, man, we're only halfway through the night. Crying. Go away! I'm doing a video! Okay, so the blade of grass is definitely worth it when you're making a jump up from a weapon type, like let's say the blue phase blade or whatnot, anything back. The Muramasa is definitely one that you're going to want to keep, especially since you got to go through the effort to get it. But the blade of grass is definitely a weapon worth making an upgrade to. And now we're going to jump to the next weapon, the Starfury. Oh, there we go. Nah, it's going to be a little tricky to use the Starfury. Oh, shoot. Go away. Starfury itself does not have a lot of damage. And also, when you have no mana, it doesn't swing. Go away. Go away. I can defend myself. But the benefit of a Starfury is that whenever you want, you can summon down a rain of 2 stars. Of course, with multiple clickings, you can just keep pouring them down in there. Especially when you have a crap ton of mana and you're capable of regenning your mana at a good rate. Oh, good God. Go away, you eyes. Okay, excuse me a minute as I kill these son of a guns. They just seem to crawl up out of nowhere. So, Starfury. The sword alone does 15 damage, which isn't a whole lot in its own, but when the stars hit as well, that's 40 damage, which makes it one of the best hitting weapons in the game. Go away. Go away. Which makes it one of the best hitting weapons in the game, especially towards a boss. Something like the Cthulhu. Jesus. No solicitors. Makes it a wonderful weapon to use against Cthulhu and Eater of Worlds because of the spread of the damage over. You can nail a lot of damage and then quickly switch over to another weapon while your mana regens. It's definitely a weapon you want to definitely a weapon worth keeping around. Not a very stable weapon on a standalone because you do need mana in order to swing it. So, it's raining zombies. Hallelujah, it's raining zombies. Red Moon almost done. Okay. So, the Starfury is... it's useful, but not, solo useful. Alright, so then we come up to our next weapon. The Fiery Greatsword. Oh, did I say where the Starfury sword's from? It's from Sky I'm just taking damage everywhere, aren't I? Oh, I'm all out of mana. See, it hurts. Starfury, or Fiery Greatsword. Alright, so, the, Starfury Weapon is found in the, Sky Islands that are floating above the land below. So, it may take a little effort to get a hold of one of yours, but it can definitely help you out in a long run. Thank you. So, the next weapon we're going to show off, which is also the last one, and the most damage-dealing sword in the game, although the damage per second really doesn't make it, in my opinion, worth it. It's nice to have, and it's helpful when it comes to looking into the walls when you're mining for ores. Just swinging in the wall and the little sparks that come off from it light up the dirt underneath. You can see several blocks into... Here, I'll just show you. So we can just walk down in here. See, like I can see down in this little area down here. You can see all this wall right there. You'll be easily able to detect ores that you may be looking for. Which, in my opinion, is the only thing it's really got going for it. Go away. As you can see, it's a little difficult. It's a little difficult to keep up a good steady rhythm with it. It's a little slow in its swing. For instance, it's very slow speed, but the 34 damage in one hit is a good hefty one. But the fact that it swings slow and you can miss makes its damage per second very, very crummy. Not the absolute best, but definitely the most powerful. So if you want to deal heavy damage in one single hit, then by all means, go ahead and use this. But it still does have to take 2 hits to kill a zombie. And that's kind of a low... What the hell are you doing in my house, you little fudger? Get away from my hoe. So... Where was I? For a weapon of its caliber, it's decent. Still, I prefer... Is someone hitting my... You are. Now, some of these weapons, when you swing them, they produce light. Where'd he go? Yeah, the Muramasa and the Great Flame Sword light up when you swing them. So it's a good way to go in the dark all on your own and just swing away. But I think we've pretty much just covered all the weapons here. It's still annoying that a Blood Moon came out while I was doing this, and still have not gotten any dark lenses. I'm starting to wonder if it's got to be one from Cthulhu's thing. Ah, lovely sounds. So, we've went through, and it's morning. Hooray. Oh, he disappeared. So, we went through the wood, went through the copper, went through the iron, the gold, the... Away. What the hell? It's morning. Why do I hear zombies? Why is it laggy? So there you go. From the most damage dealing one to your common one and all the way down to the bottom, we now have a quick listed guide. Oh, I just keep forgetting. In order to make the Fiery Greatsword, you have to make it out of 35 Hellstone bars, which is quite a good hefty thing for even someone with a Muramasa to mine, because down in hell it's a little difficult with them fire imps and the skeletal snakes. I forget their names, hunting down after you. But it makes it a little difficult to get, and for the effort, not really worth it. I don't really use this weapon myself either. I still prefer the Muramasa. But this is a quick weapons guide with the swords. We'll be then doing non-ammunition using range weapons and ammunition using weapons, and then mining and crafting items / weapons in another guide. And maybe we'll do an armor guide so that you can see the nice little benefits that some armor gives, and also with that equipable items. So this is Night Force, and you've done your midnight study. You guys take it easy. Take care. Later.